what is up guys? Welcome back to Life on the Wrist. Hope you guys are doing well today. I can't believe it's already GPHG season and they had the award ceremony recently, and they've given the prizes to the 20 winners of all the categories that they have this year. Last year we covered this fairly extensively. We went through actually all the nominations and then also like picked our winners and looked at who we picked versus who actually won. We were sort of correct. Obviously we have our own tastes in what we would pick, so I'm gonna go over the prize list and tell you what I think about each of the watches that won the categories. I'll put a link in the description so you can actually see the GPHG website. If you're unfamiliar with the GPHG, this is essentially the Oscars of watchmaking. There are a bunch of categories and watches can be nominated or submitted for those categories, and then a panel of judges within the world of horology pick the winners for each of these categories. It's a lot of deliberation. Most of the time the panel is very opinionated. People like Hodinkee founder Ben Clymer, Jack Forrester, who's I think the editor-in-chief of Hodinkee. They've both been on the panel. It would be a great honor if I was ever asked to be on it. Probably won't happen, but there's some really incredible people in the watch world who get to look through these watches. I'll save the Grand Prix prize for last. I'll go through some of the categories here. So in the ladies categories, the ladies watch prize went to the Bovet 1822. I really don't follow ladies watches all that much, but looking at the watches there is a really nice Hermes that was nominated, but the Bovet is still very, very, very beautiful. It's got a bunch of diamonds around the bezel. It also has a very unique way of integrating the dial of the watch to the lugs, and has a really beautiful green dial that is pretty unique. I've never really seen a dial like this previously. The dial is actually enamel as well, so really, really beautiful watch. The ladies' Complication watch prize went to Charles Guéradier. I'm not really familiar with his work, but it looks like it's a tourbillon at 6 o'clock. Again, quite a few diamonds, but this really beautiful blue, like light blue finished dial on it. It's got hours, minutes, and a tourbillon, and then a really unique kind of finishing to it. Diamonds on the bezel. At the top, you can see the G for the individual who manufactured this watch. I don't really have an opinion on these two watches. It's just not, I'm not really all that familiar with ladies watches, but if there are ladies who are watching, let me know what you think about these two and who you thought should have won these categories. Moving on to something I know a little bit more about, and that's the men's prize, and that was given to the Voutilainen 28 SC. This is a really, really beautiful dial. It has that very typical Carré Voutilainen finishing to that inner dial. And then you've got these hours and minutes hands with circles at the end of the hands, and then this white outer rim that has the second indicators. The case is actually made out of titanium, and it's a manual wind movement. And there's only 10 pieces that were produced of this. It has this, like I said, engine turned silver dial with gold applied hour numerals, and obviously they're made in house. The 28 SC, I think, shows really what Carré Voutilainen does. He's done a lot of work with MB&F, and so this was a really awesome award to see that he won here. There were some other watches that were in this category for the men's watch prize. For example, the Bulgaria Octofinissimo, the Debutune DB28XP, Starry Sky. There was a Laurent Ferrier in this category, and they ended up going with the Voutilainen. I really like this. It wasn't one of the larger names. Voutilainen, Carré Voutilainen is getting a little bit more press now, but I'm glad that this went to someone a little bit smaller. Roman Gauthier was another one who had another watchmaker who had a piece here, which was a micro rotor carbon made watch with this really interesting blue strap. A really beautiful watch, but I'm glad it went to Carré. Moving to the men's Complication watch prize, this went to the Group 4C handmade one. This really, Group 4C does a lot of watches that kind of reminisce of how older watches were manufactured. You have these big plates, and then these little gaps where you can see the mainspring or the balance wheel with these very interestingly finished bridges. It's a manual wind movement with hours, seconds, minutes, and a tourbillon at 7 o'clock. The dial itself is kind of like this almost like, it looks like a granite finished dial, and it has these blue hands with blue screws that really stand out when you're looking at it. It's a white gold cased watch, and this is an extraordinary piece which took a very long time to make. Just looking at it there. Some of the other watches in this category included the Bovet 1822, Recital 27. There was another Debutune, is the DB28 Tourbillon, which is what I probably would have gone for in this category, which is very interesting because the MB&F HM10 Bulldog tie was part of this category. I really love Debutune. I really love their Tourbillon. I think it's a really unique looking watch. MB&F's HM10, I guess, didn't sneak by there, but it'd be a close call between those two. Actually, what am I talking about? I would not go for the Petite. I would go for the MB&F. I would definitely go for the MB&F just because I love it so much. I think the fact that they figured out how to make that jaw move up and down as a power reserve indicator is just incredible. So that was the men's Complication. Then there's the iconic watch. This one, I don't really know why this one is it. Well, the judges decided that this was the watch that was going to win, but this Bulgari aluminum chronograph, this is really not, in my opinion, the best looking watch out there. I know that this category is supposed to bring out, you know, the icons that have been produced. This watch, I think, was produced back in 1998. That was when the first generation of this came out, and I know that this is a way to try and pay homage to that incredible idea. But when you look at the other watches that are in this category, like, why would you, like, the Breitling Chronometry B01 42mm watches in this category, I think that's a lot better looking than this Bulgari. There's a Girard-Perregaux Infinity Limited Edition that was really beautiful. The Portuguese chronograph with a green dial was put forth for this. The Altiplano original automatic was put forth. Even a Seiko professional diver 1000 meter was put forth. Now, I probably wouldn't go for that Seiko. I personally would either go for the Girard-Perregaux or the Breitling, but this Bulgari just doesn't do anything to me. The bezel with with Bulgari written on it just looks, if I'm completely honest, just kind of tacky. But the judges had their say, and that's the one that they decided to nominate. The next category is the Chronometry watch prize, and this went to the Ferdinand Berthoud FBR2RE.2. The chronometry obviously has to do with the way in which the accuracy of this watch, and this is Ferdinand Berthoud is known for making extremely accurate watches. Then they made watches for the French king and the navy, and they have a really great history of creating incredible pieces. This watch is a pink gold case and has a manual wind mechanical movement, and it has hours, minutes, seconds, power reserve indicator, and jumping seconds, which obviously is a very difficult thing to manufacture. One of the things that they came up with for this piece is a fusee and chain transmission, which basically allows for there to be constant force sent to the escapement. I'm not going to go into details because I want to go over the just the winners of these prizes, but this is still a very innovative way of looking at watchmaking in order to allow for constant force to go through the escapement and obviously increase accuracy. It has deadbeat seconds, which is obviously when in a mechanical piece where the easiest way to describe it is where the seconds hands ticks like a quartz watch, but it hits it precisely on each second. And so yeah, a really beautiful watch to win there. Some of the other ones were the Armstrong Gravity Equal Force, which I've covered on this channel because I think it is an incredible piece that in my opinion could very well be up here with the leaders. There's some smaller, not smaller, but less well-known watch manufacturers as well. The H. Moser and Cia and the Endeavor cylindrical tourbillon that they did with MB&F was also put up for this, but this has more to do with I think the H. Moser and the MB&F collaboration had a lot more to do with aesthetics. Even though the precision that they put into this movement were quite incredible. This is actually one of my favorite categories because there are some smaller watch manufacturers, so I'll put up a picture of all of the nominees so that you can see them. So that was the Chronometry award. This next one, and I covered this watch, and I knew that this watch was going to get awards. This was the Calendar and Astronomy Watch Prize, and this went to the Vacheron Constantin Overseas Perpetual Calendar Ultra Thin Skeleton. I mean, what more can I say? Just that sentence on its own is incredible. The Overseas collection is obviously the sportier line of Vacheron Constantin's watches, and for this one, like I said, they have a perpetual calendar in this ultra thin case, and the dial is skeletonized, so you can actually see the movement beneath the dial itself. It's in pink gold. I knew this watch was going to win awards, and an incredible piece to win this category. In my opinion, it was head and shoulders above some of these other watches, but there were some incredible watches here. I mean, there's the Adeus Portuguese Yacht Club Moon and Tide. There was the Sarpaneva Harvest Moon. So I mean, like, the incredible watches. And I think one of the things you have to remember about this is GPHG are basically the best of the best watches that you can possibly think of. And this Vacheron Constantin was definitely in good company with these nominations. So moving forward was the Mechanical Exceptions watch, and this went to the Bovet 26 Brainstorm Chapter 2. I don't really know too much about this watch. I know that Bovet creates some incredible pieces. It's got this writing desk case which is fairly iconic to Bovet, with a dial at 12 o'clock with this beautiful blue finishing to it, and then you got these gold hands. The complications in this watch are hours, minutes, seconds, moon phases, and then power reserve. It's limited to 10 pieces, so a fairly rare piece here. The other watches in this category were the Armstrong Minute Repeater, the Bovet, the Jacob & Co. Bugatti Chiron, the MB&F Legacy Machine Thunderdome, which was obviously my front runner, and then the Piaget Altiplano Ultimate Concept, and the Resonance Type 2A. Now, if I was to pick my top 3 here, I'd probably go for maybe like Armstrong, the Bovet, and either the Jacob & Co. or the MB&F. Obviously, I would be biased, and I would probably go for the MB&F just because it is one of my favorite companies. Moving on to the chronographs, which is another one of my favorite categories, and that the watch that won here was the H. Moser Streamliner Flyback Chronograph Automatic, which I was excited about. We've covered that watch on this channel as well. Really simple chronograph, but it's a flyback chronograph from H. Moser. I'm glad that they're getting some really great awards here for the things that they are doing. I've done a video on the Streamliner, so you can check out that video. Some of the other nominations were Breitling Top Time Limited Edition, which was obviously a reedition of previous watch of the vintage Top Time. There was the Parmigiani Chronograph GT Steel Black, the Louis Monet Memory Super Light, which I personally love. Louis Monet, I've covered a couple of their watches on this channel, and I also covered Louis Monet, who is a very well-known watch maker. But there was the Chronograph one, the Atelier de Chronometry, a split-second chronograph. This watch reminds me of there's a reference of a Petite chronograph where it almost looks like they have claws for lugs, and this reminds me of that too. So some great watches there. If we look at the diver's watch, the watch that won this category was the Breitling Superocean Automatic 48 Boutique Edition. Some of the other watches that were with this watch was the Doxa Sub 300 Carbon Aqua Lung US Diver, the Grand Seiko 9R85 600 meter. There was a Ming in there, Ulysses Nardin, but the Breitling ended up winning this. There were only, I think, 48 of these pieces produced, or very limited quantity, but the case itself was in titanium and ceramic, and really was a no-nonsense dive watch, which is probably what they're looking for. It has a green lacquered dial, which is a little bit different than some of the other dive watches that are released during this time. I'm gonna skip the jewelry watch prize just because it's not really what I cover very much, but the winner was the Van Cleef and Arpels beautiful watch in its own right, but just don't really know much about it. Van Cleef and Arpels also won the Artistic Craft Watch Prize, which I also will not kind of go into just because it's not really my scene. I will say that the Jacob & Co. The Jacob & Co. Astronomia Sky Phoenix was in there, which is where they have this like phoenix inside of this glass case. It's very Jacob & Co. Moving on to the Petite Aiguille prize, which is basically, I think it's a distinction of price category. And the nominees for this one were the Bell & Ross BR05 Skeleton, which I believe was probably one of the best watches to come out of the last year. A lot of people think that this is just Bell & Ross trying to capture some sort of stainless steel market that is captured mainly by, Rolex and the Patek Philippe Nautilus, etc. Then there's the Breitling Superocean Heritage 57 Limited Edition, the Habring Chrono Felix Panda. There was the IWC Portuguese Automatic 40, the Sarpaneva and Moomin watch, and then the Trilob Secret watch. The Breitling was the one that ended up winning this category. The color's interesting to me. I think it's a cool like something different. But whether I'd wear this watch, I think it's a little bit big for me. It retails for like $4,000, so it's a really great watch. But what was cool about this watch was it was a limited edition watch that supported the healthcare professionals that were working on COVID-19, which is obviously something that was huge during this year. So I think that might have played a part in it winning, because I think drawing a connection to some sort of relevant thing going on in 2020 is I think important. Then there was the Challenge Watch Prize. This watch, this category was quite interesting. The Tudor Black Bay 58 ended up winning. I think it's one of the best watches, period, for at least people who are a little into kind of like mass consuming watches. Some of these other pieces were probably a little bit more for the really serious watch enthusiasts. Not saying if you're a serious watch enthusiast you're not gonna like this Tudor Black Bay, but like the Louis Era is not something that someone's gonna say and they'll know exactly what you're talking about. So that's that. Then there was the Innovation Prize. This prize was given to the Parmigiani Fleury Perpetual Calendar. This is, I think, an insane watch. It's got obviously some Arabic on the dial, but the complications are the hours, minutes, seconds, moon phase, perpetual calendar in a platinum case. I think the case back is also really, really beautiful, especially the way that they finished that, the rotor. Yeah, it's an incredible watch for sure. What I really thought was great is that MB&F did end up winning an award here. They won the Audacity Prize of 2020 with the H. Moser and MB&F collaboration for the Endeavour cylindrical tourbillon. This is a watch we have covered on this channel, so if you want to learn more about it, you can check out our video on it. But this is a steel cased watch with this ice blue fumé dial finishing, and then you've got this tourbillon at 12 o'clock, and then you have this almost like glass dial that's propped up a little bit at 6 o'clock so that you can see it while you're wearing it. This watch is a sight to see, so check out our video where we kind of describe a little bit more about this watch. The horological revelation prize was given to the Petermann Berthoud, which is the deadbeat seconds, their deadbeat seconds watch that they manufactured. I don't really know too much about this, but I think what I'd like to do is do a little bit more of an in-depth video on this specific watch. The dial finishing is steel and sapphire, so a pretty incredible watch with a red gold case. Only 10 pieces as well, so. So the big prize, the Oglier d'Or Grand Prix prize, was given to a watch that we covered on this channel, and I also knew that this was going to be a very, very heavy hitting watch, and that was the Altiplano Ultimate concept. This is basically the one of the thinnest watches that has ever been produced. It's actually 2 millimeters in thinness. That includes the case and the sapphire crystal, but it has the same thickness as their very iconic 9P caliber Piaget that was actually released at Baselworld in 1957. This is, like I said, it's the thinnest, one of the world's thinnest mechanical watch at 2 millimeters. The case and the movement's actually fused together, and it has a manual wind movement because you don't have enough space to kind of have that rotor. Has this brushed back, sunburst bridges, beveled, sunburst and beveled bridges, and is a really just an outstanding piece. This is a concept watch, I believe, at this point in time, but has this really nice open work dial. And one of the things I really love is the fact that at 6 o'clock you've got this view into the mainspring, so you can actually see as you wind the watch, you can see that see the mainspring actually move, which I think is fairly unique. The dial of this watch is actually, or where the hands are on this watch, are actually at 12 o'clock. The dial itself is this open work. You can see the things kind of ticking away at it. So yeah, it's some of the best innovation to come out of 2020 for sure. So let me know what you think in the comments of the winners of these of GPHG from this year. It was a different year. It wasn't a year that was full of, you know, Baselworld announcements and all those things, just because of the current climate of really the world at the moment. But yeah, I think well deserved for the most part on the winners of each of these categories. If you are new to the channel and you like these types of videos, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you are notified when we do upload. I'd love to have you part of this channel. We create videos about watches. We really just love watches on this channel, and we cover a multitude of different things within the watch world, so be sure to stay tuned if you're interested in that. If you wouldn't mind hitting that like button for us, it really does help us out, and let us know in the comment section below which one of these pieces was your favorite. And with that said, guys, thank you so much for watching, and until next time.